Welcome to this episode of our book read through of Elon Musk, Woke Messiah by Elvin. We left off on this page that starts with, "Hey Elon, I have a dust allergy. Is that going to be a problem on Mars?" Oh, brother. So, I don't know if it was the last episode, but they were wondering if there was a place that was warmer than Mars we could go to. Now we have people with dust allergies. Obviously, this sounds like it's a joking manner. But yeah, you do hear about dust on Mars. Dust storms. We have an LBM blurb from 2077 that reads, "I sit silently staring at the sky, cold and clear. I feel at peace. I feel content with my inner being. Is this not who I am, this inward sense of self? I am not my body or my clothes, only shells. I am not my home or the varied riches within. I am not my family or my many timeless travels. I am this peaceful state of mind and nothing else. Define me as you wish, you will surely calculate incorrectly. I am less than my many accolades, no great man. I am so much more than my many unfounded doubts." This kind of reminds me of that one where he's thinking about being back in the womb, and makes you think about how you define yourself and who you really are, what parts of your life define you. And for him, it seems like it's kind of, himself, when he can just close his eyes and think. Maybe. And in bold it reads, "I sit silently staring at the sky and nothing else." Below that it reads, "On Mars, the government is not run by a monarch or president. Instead, it is run by a board of 13 elected members, each with an expertise regarding one segment of society, each with an equal vote to approve legislation." That makes sense. I'm sure that comes with its own set of pros and cons. But for a president to be an expert in every aspect of society obviously is difficult or impossible. So having more people involved in that office of approving legislation probably makes sense. Next page reads, "Hey Elon, if you could go back in time, where would you go and when?" Yes, I would like to know that. Then below that, Elbian Blurb 2075 reads, "How should one view their place in the vast universe? As an individual within an environment, a separate, distinct entity? Master of one's domain with the ability to control all? As part of a cosmic machine, divine and purely evolved? Or an insignificant part of the puzzle, a humble, irrelevant piece? Which view holds more truth? Which view holds more ignorance? Which view is more pleasurable? Which view is more painful?" So this kind of goes back to just how we see ourselves. And I think you could definitely rationally look at yourself all of these ways. As a speck of dust, as kind of the ruler of your reality, I guess, or something in between. And all those probably come with their own set of challenges, I would guess. Below that, we have a Bertrand Russell quote that reads, "In all affairs, it's a healthy thing now and then to hang a question mark on the things you have long taken for granted." I've heard that quote before. I like that. I like the way you phrased it too. Just hang a question mark on the things you believe are true, and maybe go back and question them again and make sure it holds up. Next page, we have a heading that says, "Consider this. We are in a simulation. I ran it without Elon Musk. It sucked. I definitely think if we were in a simulation, it would be much worse without Elon Musk. Much worse? Definitely worse. Yeah. He is a net positive, a huge net positive for the simulation. Then we have an Albion blurb that reads, "Our war with nature is futile, so easy to see. Our attempts to control such an evolved foe is absurd. We are merely microscopic gnats on the body of nature, too insignificant to impose our will, yet we continually try. We are eligible for extinction whenever nature decides, perhaps today. We exist simply because nature allows us to, perhaps tomorrow. Nature probably does not even know we exist, not worthy. We would be far better off to submit and yield, to learn from all nature has to offer, absolutely free. There is no greater teacher in all the world." Yeah, that kind of goes back to how we see ourselves, right? In comparison to nature and the world and the universe. And you definitely see how we are insignificant compared to the whole, or you could think that. And maybe we should stop trying to control nature and kind of learn from nature, or at least consider that when we make decisions. Then we have a blurb that reads, "All the knowledge that we do seek." Oh, this is a poem. This is, usually it's at the front of the page, or top of the page. "All the knowledge that we do seek, we used to know before we could speak, before we could crawl, before we could walk, but then we grew up and learned how to talk. And this corrupted and confounded our mind, making this knowledge much harder to find." That would be kind of sad if that were true. And this kind of goes back to Albion being back in the womb. And is it a more perfect existence? Do you come out of the womb and then like your reality shattered with everything you're sensing? I don't know. Something to consider. Next page. Oh, we have another poem. And it reads, "Let me tell you about the first thing I remember. The snow had just fallen in late December. I had spent the whole day on top of my sled, then came home and burrowed into my bed. That was my very first memory. Or was that a movie I wanted to see?" Yeah, so I think this is kind of just wants to bring up the idea that maybe memories aren't perfect, and to keep that in mind. And it's kind of crazy because we base so much off of our memories. They're kind of like what we make decisions and everything off of. But just keep in mind that maybe things aren't as we remembered exactly. Then we have an Albion blurb that reads, "What is the essence of beauty, the makeup of beauty? What makes something more beautiful than another, more inherently attractive? How much is completely inherent? How much is socially constructed? Is it some perfect symmetry, a perfect balance of substance? Likewise, what is ugliness? What makes us quickly look away? What repels us? What makes us question the divinity of God? Are we born knowing ugliness? Are we born to despise? Can truth be ugly and unattractive? If so, then why? To find truth with deceptive senses is a daunting task." And in bold, it reads, "The essence of beauty is completely inherent divinity." Yeah, is beauty and ugliness something we're born with? I think at least part of it we're kind of taught by society, I would say. But what do we make of that? Below that is a Elon Musk quote that reads, "I don't spend my time pontificating about high concept things. I spend my time solving engineering and manufacturing problems. That's interesting. So he's solving problems, which over the long run seems like maybe it makes a bigger impact because you're actually getting stuff done and building something. Whereas those who are just thinking about big problems, philosophical problems, like this Albion character, you think about it, but what does that actually do? Does it change the way you think and act? Yeah, probably. But does it does it make as much? Would your time be better used actually solving problems, like real life problems? Maybe a little both. Well, that is it for this episode. Join us for next episode as we continue through this book and try to make more sense of everything we've read. Until then, have a great day.